people of India,
we the people of India,
having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, ensuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you, General Said, and thank you, everybody. Please be seated.
So welcome once again. This is the 7th Right Every Wrong Conclave, but it is the first Rex Curtain Raiser Conclave because we've rechristened to Rex this year.
Right? Most ideas which have come out from nothingness originate from India. The zero, for example, is an Indian creation. What is every other number without a zero? But we've lost our own values. We fail to respect the very Indian or the very Eastern ethos. And that's what we're going to try to do and reclaim and preserve that with Rex. That's what we aspire to do. We're hoping to do that. Yeah. So having said that, let me play a small film for you and introduce Rex to you, what Rex stands for. In 2008, and the fight continues. And I think we have been a little ahead of our time in terms of our thinking, but at the same time there's been a challenge to sustain this movement because finding the funding is becoming very difficult. It's not that people are not ready to fund us, where several people are ready to fund us. In fact, when we did a tender process this year for event companies to offer their proposals to work with us, so the fight continues. We managed to sustain it so far. We get a lot of support, and I'm thankful to Conclive, which is an IT company based from Hyderabad, Sridhar Reddy, who has decided that he would underwrite the event, whatever the costs are. The costs are underwritten by Conclive. Very grateful to VSO, who has partnered us for the past 2 years. Ratna, who's their director, and Praveen, who's amongst us today as one of our ex-fellows. They have been supporting us for the past 2 years. This year, a company called Everstogen, which is a biotech company, has also come to our rescue and said that we will support you. And Mahindra Spark the Rise has also kind of supported us. And then we have various support in kind, right from Swaransoft, which is an IT company again, and they basically kind of take care of all our websites pro bono. And Yogesh is amongst us today. Shivani is one of our Rex fellows. Yogesh is also a co-founder of the Rex movement. We have regional PR, which is again working with us pro bono to do to see whatever little publicity we could do around this to media releases and press conferences and so on. And then we have a whole lot of other partners like LAM, Touch of Hope Foundation, Skillshare, the India Angel Network, which has partners as the UN, and so on. That's a little about Rex. So this year onwards, we're only going to have rock star speakers speaking for 15 minutes and alternative performances. So the whole idea is to kind of promote good rock star speakers who bring in ideas for action, and you will meet some of them today, tomorrow, and day after, and alternative performances. We're kind of promoting Rex as a knowledge and a culturetainment platform. So that's what Rex positioning is from this year onwards. Yeah. How are we different is a question I'm often asked from a TED or from a Inc. or from any other forums like a Think Fest or any of these forums. I think our biggest differentiator is that we're not just about speeches, but we are about ideas for action. So we're bringing in content which can actually be translated into action for the larger public good. The second pillar is empowering and entertaining ideas. And this is where filmmakers, entertainers, people from media could talk about how are they making a difference using their format of media or whatever. And the third pillar is social innovations and entrepreneurs. As to how entrepreneurs, be it from telephony, be it from IT, be it from media, be it from any field, be it from biotech, pharma, healthcare, how are they kind of integrating doing good as a part of their business model? But going forward, we plan to kind of organize the program every year in January now, and we have aligned with the Goa government to organize this in Goa. So hopefully and mostly the next Rex 2013, which will be held in January 2014, will be held in Goa at the Kala Academy.
We also announced the Rex Fellowships this year. We have the Karmavir Puraskar Awards that we give out to people who have been sustaining their efforts to make a change and bring about a change in society for the past several years. And the Rex Fellowships is a program where we are bringing people from all walks of life, right from captains of industry to writers and journalists, to activists, to whistleblowers, to people from the armed forces and the police forces, people from various disciplines, educationists, architects. And the Rex Fellowship is a program where we're trying to kind of bring people together to see how can we work in tandem with each other for the larger collective good. And we have a lot of Rex Fellows in this room today. So welcome to all of you, and proud to have you as a part of our movement. And the common thread that all these Rex Fellows have is that they all want to make a difference. So these are the concepts that we would hear on the open mic, and I open the mic now to all our ex-Global Fellows who would like to come and share their thoughts and their ideas. So we can start with Muktai, young girl from Bombay. She's been doing a lot of work, a lot of gender activism, especially on the issue of female infanticide. And she's now quit her job at Ernst & Young to become a Teach for India Fellow. And she's devoted her time to work with children, trying to empower the next generation. So Mukta, you have 3 minutes to present your idea. Thank you.
It's a privilege to stand here and speak in front of you because, as you can see, I'm probably the youngest person in the room. So just bear with me for next few minutes. I started working in this sector when I was 18. I read a UNICEF report that 100 million girls are killed in India every single year. And I decided to do something about it. So I started an online course called Stop Infanticide, Save the Girl Child. And currently we have 5 lakh members. And we have raised a couple of $1,000 for this cause. And we run different initiatives, and we have different initiatives, and we run different campaigns to create awareness. However, over the years, we've realized that changing mindset of people for girl child takes a lot of time. It's not the matter of just educating them, or even amongst classes. If you see, even in terms of wealth, even in wealthy people, this attitude is present. So we are currently working on a project that how can we ask government to stop giving out licenses of ultrasound to private clinics. and how can we stop these illegal practices which are run in many parts of India. So currently we are working on that project and I'm very excited about it. I just met Renu and she who's present over here and she's already done some work on that. So I'm really glad to be here and to meet all of you, and I'll definitely get a lot of ideas and learn a lot more in these next 3 days. Currently I'm also working with Teach for India, which is a movement, a nationwide movement. We are currently present in 5 cities. We started 4 years back, and we take over classrooms in underprivileged for underprivileged children, and we take over classrooms in public sector, public schools, private schools, which are low funded, and we teach those children. So currently I'm a full-time teacher and I'm teaching 46 children in a municipal school in Mumbai. And I'm also planning to start an organization post my fellowship with Teach for India, which will do some work in terms of providing education to underprivileged children. So there are a lot of ideas, a lot of plans, and hopefully everything turns out to be great. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Do you have any questions from Uday about what her idea is and how she plans to carry on? Yes, please.
Hi. Don't ask a tough question.
I work with PwC.
Oh wow, competitor.
When you left your job, how did you feel?
I felt liberated. I felt great, in fact, because I was working there, and to tell you the truth, I just felt that I was turned into a machine. You know, I was just turned into a machine to give maximum output in minimum time and using minimum resources, as I say. So I didn't feel that I was doing a job which gave me an opportunity to add my own touch to it. So you can do it, obviously you can do it, but you can't do to a great extent being in a structure, it's a very structured organization. It's pretty rigid. So when you work for an already established organization, it does not provide you with those many opportunities to do something. So that's why I'm thinking of social entrepreneurship. I'm trying to, it's kind of very tempting, for me to think of to be a social entrepreneur. But I think that will provide me a bigger opportunity to do something of my own to add that touch, which I think everyone over here deserves that, right? Like everyone deserves to have a job which makes you satisfied and makes you happy and lets you who you are. We are not machines.
Hats off to you because
Yeah.
I've been thinking of doing this for almost 2 years.
Do that.
And
Just put in your papers.
that's what I
Yeah.
Now the
There's
next
a lot of-
question,
yeah.
is what is still holding me back?
Yeah.
Do you ever regret?
No, I didn't.
I'll now call upon another Rex Global Fellow, Simar Ahluwalia, young budding author. So Simar.
Thanks a lot, Jerry, for that wonderful introduction. Good morning, everyone. It's a wonderful conference that we have here today, quite an interesting mix of people. I was thinking about what I was going to speak about today, and since we're talking about ideas of change, so I thought I'd talk about change. And that's primarily what I'm writing on. I was working about 5 years back when I quit my job, and I decided to bring about the change that I wanted to see in the world, and I thought how I could go about it. So I met quite a few people, very wise people, and I also tried to meet people from all walks of life, from doctors, philosophers, even to Buddhist monks. So I got into spirituality, meditation. I did forest meditation for a while. So I tried to explore all ideas, but understood metaphysical ideas about certain things, but I tried to root myself into rationality and tried to link these things with science. So I tried to understand what is it that makes people do what they do. Why is it that people try to pursue certain things? Or for example, somebody asked us here today that why is it that we continue working for money when it doesn't really inspire us? We continue doing something we do every day, from 9 to 5, every day for the rest of our lives, to earn money, and then in order to go on living, and then we do that by doing our job, to continue living, to do something we don't like, which is stupid. So we need to understand that we're living our life and our time here is short. If somebody asks me, are you living? And I would say, I'm alive, but I'm living. But if you look at the vector of life from the opposite end, you would see we're also dying. So if you're living, you're dying. So it's like a oxymoron, like a living, dying thing. So we need to understand when our time here is short, how do we make the maximum use of it? So when we think about the change in the world, change or whatever the reality is out there in the world, it's manifest as a result of our actions. And actions come from our ideas. So it's very important to have the right ideas. So if I tell you to be kind, you might be attracted to the idea, but unless you don't feel it in your core, you won't do it. So you need to feel that idea in your core that you have to do kindness, or you have to have unconditional positive regard for human beings, and to understand that idea has to hit your very core. So if I give you a simple argument, for example, why do we make money? We're Indians, so we have a particular Indian ethic. Let's say, for example, a person makes 10 crores in his entire lifetime. He will spend 1 crore. 9 crore he would give to his kids. And the kids would probably do the same. And then the other 9 would go to their children. And you would never really use the entire amount on yourself, even to consume it. Neither would you do it to spend it on other people. So, to think about it for a second, this argument about life and longevity, that we're thinking that we're going to live forever through our children, is it really valid? So think about it for a second, because your grandchildren might not, I'm not trying to be pessimistic here, but you don't know how well they will live, how long they will live, whether your continuity would go on forever. So when you see the impermanence of this argument, you would stop and you would want to make only that much money which is necessary for you to go on. And when that hits you in your core, everything else would make sense. The argument about bringing about change in the world, the argument about seeing positive things in the world, the kind of world you would want to see, and then you would understand you don't really need money to make a change in the world. Money is irrelevant. Because money comes naturally when everything else is in order. So I think that that's what I wanted to talk about here today. So change is possible when our ideas are right. And ideas get rooted in our brain in the right way when we sort of follow the right methodology, the right rationality, critical reasoning, spiritual meditation, and we try to link all of that and we try to understand why are we here, what is the meaning of life, and what does it mean to be. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Simar. You have to stand up there because any questions for Simar?
My question to you, when you have gone through the metaphysics and when you have gone through the spiritualism, and if you complete the spiritualism and the metaphysics in the right direction, the ideas flow to your mind, but there are surroundings which does not allow you to happen. So in that situation, what is your take?
So what I understood is when you're saying that we want to bring about the change, but the surroundings prevail upon us. Am I getting you right?
You are half right, because when you are spiritually strong and metaphysically okay, and when you have the ideas, but you may have the path also, but if your surroundings are poor, what do you take in that situation?
When you say surroundings, you mean circumstances.
It means everything, the physical energy.
It makes perfect sense to follow this argument, because the other argument about our needs or the pursuit of happiness through materialism, there was a cognitive research which said there are 3 types of life, and one is the kind of people who are probably musicians, and when they get their fame and actors, they enjoy life. But according to research, they're not very happy. The next kind of people who are more happy are people who are in a state of flow. When you say flow means whatever you're doing, you're in a state of inner tranquility, that the effort, it does not take effort to do what you're doing. But the people who are most happy in life, the people who really enjoy life, this is according to research, psychology, and they said that they are the people who have a transcendental purpose in life. And that's very important, because when you have a purpose beyond yourself, then we actually are inspired to go ahead and reach out and have a meaningful life. And that's where the most amount of satisfaction results in, because when we're dying, because we need to think, nobody thinks about death, but when you stop and think about it, because why should we not think about it? We're all going to be there. That's the only certainty in our life. So when you think about that and retrace your steps, it becomes ever more relevant to change whatever we're doing. So that's where you will find rationality in that argument. But coming back to your question, how does one overcome the surroundings? I think that one of the fundamentals that this sort of rationality leads you to is fearlessness. You have absolute fearlessness, because when you understand that I am a manifestation, I'm standing here before you, and I do not have an attachment to myself, in the sense, yes, I have to protect myself in order to go on doing good in this world. I have to live long. Because, if you go to a Buddhist monk, the other monks, they pray for his long life. They say, we wish that he lives for a very long time so that he can benefit us. That's one of the primary things. So, in order to do good, you have to live long. But you also know that your life, and you don't have an attachment to this life. So if you die doing good, you don't fear it. Because that's the fundamental thing. Because when you see the impermanence of life, you become fearless. So I think that should answer your question.
I'm Oswald Pereira. I've been a journalist for 30 years, and I wrote a book it's called The Newsroom Mafia. It describes the nexus between the media, the mafia, and the government. I thought journalists write a lot about corruption, among others, among politicians, among actors, among the bureaucracy, but journalists never write about corruption among themselves. So I decided to write this book, The Newsroom Mafia. And the book has been well received. It sold 5,000 copies in the first 2 months. It's doing pretty well till now. It's published by Grey of Westland. I take questions rather than speaking.
So how can a journalist who wants to survive in this system without getting involved, what can he do about it?
Well, I think I have survived for 30 years. You can survive if you stand up to your ideals, if you're clean. See, if you're clean, nobody can point fingers at you. I used to cover crime for more than 4 years. I had the underworld dons offering money. I met the dons. I went to the houses. I even shared a drink or two with them. And they offer you money. They say, "Aap hamare bare mein kyun likh rahe?" I said, "Kyunki ye mera, this is my duty." So they offer you money. You say, "Sorry, I don't want your money." They won't force you at gunpoint and say, "Paise lo nahi to maar do." You have to be clean yourself.
Right? Thank you so much. Thank you also. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Saini, and I'm a private dental surgeon practicing in Namashir, Punjab. I've seen, basically, I've worked in Calcutta hospital. I've seen scarcely the rural healthcare in dental vis-a-vis the urban areas. People are not able to get proper treatment and not able to buy proper care because of the high and influential cost of the dental treatment is there. I have made a project on rural dental oral health care, which is on my Facebook. It's 41 people have joined me on. And as I speak today, I've been contacted by the Bhutan government. The Bhutan government is going to sponsor the whole project in the government of Bhutan. And that is a very good forwarding area. UNDP has contacted me. UNICEF Nepal has contacted me. And many of the Colgate presidents, they have come forward with this project and they have contacted me. Basic aim is to put up dental centers in the rural villages, in the hinterland of India. Whether it's Nepal, whether it's Bhutan, whether it's Punjab, whether it's the northeast, whether it's the the northern part, the southern part, the eastern part, the western part. It doesn't matter. It should matter to the people whom we are going to serve. We have formed a Global Oral Health Foundation now, which we have registered rightly on 23rd itself. And slowly and shortly we're bringing the constitution, the framework, the chapter, the area of interest we're going to deal in, where we're going to work, how it's going to be proceed further, how we're going to collect the funds, etc., etc. That's going to be shortlisted. The basic aim is to get this project, to get to a wider media, and to get it to a wider audience, so we get philanthropists, individuals who matter in the
Morning, everyone. 3 minutes is going to be a little short, but I'll try to stick to that. I run a school by the name of Scottish High International School, but that's not the cause which I'm going to be talking about today. We started the process of understanding autistic children. Autism is a disorder, it's an intellectual disorder. And in this world, the number of children with autism exceed the number of children with diabetes, AIDS, put together. So that's the kind of numbers we are talking about. It is a little known disease in India, but across the world, if you go around, people don't even know how to diagnose it. So we started the Autism Research Center, in which we went around almost 35, 40 villages, identified people, tried to have awareness campaigns to send markers of autism. We created an integrated setup in the school where children with autism were integrated into the mainstream classrooms. I happen to be the director of Special Olympics of India as well. So we started the project Unify, where we had the normal children and the special needs children come together, and we had awareness campaigns with about 2,000 people setting up, and we had videos showing how these children with autism and disorders could cycle, could golf, could swim, could ride, could actually play. Some of them are going to be playing the piano tomorrow, day after. We took help from LAM, and we showcased them in front of audiences in epicenters, India Islamic centers. Mrs. Sheila Dixit herself was there to witness a couple of those shows. So the aim of this whole thing is that this is not enough. So we got together with Hero Motocorp, we got with Buzzer Bajaj, we took with Mr. Oberoi, we got them on board, we got them in writing that we need to open a center which takes care of at least 1,500 of these children at a time, train them in a vocational college, and align them into jobs so that they can get settled and earn something for themselves in their lives. And this is the project where we are all working for. So I hope God is with us in this. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthikeyan. Please be on stage. Any questions for Karthikeyan?
Is this merely a genetic disorder, or is it exacerbated by malnutrition in the formative years?
Sir, it has been scientifically proved that it is not an environmental related disorder. That means it is not with malnutrition. It is not because of parents working and ignoring the child, which was thought as so. It has nothing to do with the environment. It is a genetic disorder. It is a neuro disorder which is linked to genetics.
In the last few years, there have been some mainstream media attention and focus on things like ADD and Asperger's syndrome, which various actors who go by the surname Khan have shown on screen. So has that made any impact on people's perception of autism by and large? Have they become a little more accepting and aware of it?
Absolutely. It has made a lot of difference. What autism was supposed to be shunned, like AIDS probably was a couple of years back. This is about 4 or 5 years back. But the situation today is that autistic children are actually embraced by their students. People have been sensitized, not just by these movies, because these movies are showing about 0.5% of what actually autistic or ADHD or a ASD syndrome child is. But everybody earlier thought that autism means large mental retardation where a person probably is not going to behave socially, whereas now people have understood intelligently that it is a social disorder, it is probably a communication disorder where a child could be just like you and me and could just be hyperactive, and that's about it. But then he may not be able to do a job which is a dangerous one, for example, let's say welding or on a grinding machine, but would be an excellent housekeeper or an excellent painter or a designer or a scanner.